in question, and I have changed it from llama to lamb, because Mary did have a little lamb. All right. So far, we have got colonies, British colonies in Jamestown, Virginia, and up there in Massachusetts, okay, the Massachusetts Bay colonies. England is feeling like they've got a little run here in North America. They're liking what North America is all about. And I'll get into some of the reasons why on Monday. But for right now, just get the idea that, ooh, they like it. They're not the only ones who are saying, hey, North America's got promise, okay? You got the Spanish shore here in the southern parts of North America, what would become Florida, okay? You've got the French all in the northern areas over here, and parts that will become Canada and Quebec, all right? And you're going to have another group come here and start settling down, all right? Thank you to this gentleman here, Henry Hudson, who's going to form an area, okay, that is going to be known as the New Netherlands, all right? Well, why are we calling it New Netherlands? Well, we're calling it New Netherlands because that's where we are from, all right? He's going to name it New Netherlands. He's sponsored by the Netherlands, and he is going to name its capital city, all right? His capital city is going to be New Amsterdam. And right now you're probably thinking to yourself, dang, Mr. Johnson, you know, we don't have a New Amsterdam, you know, in the United States. There's no country name or no state name, what's going on here, okay? Well, Hudson and the Dutch, initially, they're all about some easy trade stuff, you know, having a good time. The British, on the other hand, aren't so happy with that, because between Massachusetts Bay in the north, okay, and Jamestown in the south, they've got this Dutch colony, and the king is like, frigga-diggy, man, that's not good for us. If we have the Dutch in that area, who's going to stop the French from going into that area and surrounding all of our colonies? We don't want to be surrounded. So what the king is going to do, okay, he's going to get his brother and say, hey, bro, I got a proposition for you. I'm going to give you some land, okay? If you just go over there and take it from the Dutch, it's yours. And I'll give you some more land on top of that. Now, as the king's brother, okay, he's got some power, okay, but he doesn't have as many resources as the king. And he's like, this colony is a money-making proposition, okay? I think I want to jump on that. Pulls together a small army, heads over there. The Dutch are over there. They're like, frigga-diggy, we're here just trading furs with the Native Americans, having a good old time. We're surrounded. We give up, okay? And they're going to take over. The British are going to take over that Dutch colony of New Amsterdam. And the Duke of York, okay, is going to change that to New York, okay? He's going to name that territory after himself because, hey, it's his prerogative. I am royal. This is my territory. I'm going to name it after me. Just like had I been around during that time period, we'd all be living in the state of Mr. Johnson, okay? That's what's going to happen, all right? So now all of a sudden, we've got another colony here. We've got the New York colony. And what the Duke of York is going to do, he's also going to break off a piece of that southern part of his colony, okay? He's going to call it New Jersey, and he's got two buddies. And he's going to say, hey, buddy one, you can have the southern half of New Jersey, all right? Buddy two, you can have the northern half of New Jersey. Feel free to exploit that area to your fullest extent, to whatever you want to have done with it, it's yours, okay? And that's what they're going to do. Rich people, royal people are going to want to try and get involved in the colonies because it's an opportunity for them to make money, all right? Money, money, money. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Enter the Quakers, okay? It's not just the friends of the royals that are getting land over here. It is those religious dissenters as well, all right? We already know about the Pilgrims, okay? Who are the Puritans, and they came over for religious freedom. Well, there's another group of Protestants that are in England and that are like, yeah, this is not such a great place for us to be right now. And these are the Quakers. They're very passive in their beliefs, okay? They still believe in God. They still believe in their Christian faith, okay? They believe in all those dogmas, but they are more, I don't know, minimalist, I guess you could say, about their approach to everything. We don't need to have, you know, preachers. We don't need to have organized churches. We believe more in the spirituality of Christianity, okay? And that's what they're going to do. And when the Spirit hits you, and you stop and you pray or do whatever during that time period. Not so friendly with the Puritans, not so friendly with the Church of England, not so friendly with the Catholics. But there's a gentleman, okay, and this is not him, a gentleman by the name of William Penn, who is a Quaker, all right, and he is friendly enough with the king that he is able to get a charter from the king to establish a Quaker colony in North America. Woohoo! Guess what, guys? We get to go over to Pennsylvania. This is my new area, named after me, William Penn, Pennsylvania, okay? We get to come over here in this colony that I'm naming after myself, and we get to live our life. We get to do our Quaker thing, all right? But I don't want to go over there. It's crazy over there. Hey, not a problem. Guess what? You come over to Pennsylvania, and I'm going to give you 50 acres of land. Really? You don't say. Yeah, not only that, you'll be able to vote. That's right. We're going to have our own government because the king said I can set up my own government over here. What? Get out of here. I'm going to have land and I can vote. Yep. And it's going to be a representative type of a government. So everybody's going to have a say. And you can practice your religion as you see fit. Bang. People are going to start coming to North America, to Pennsylvania. All right. The Pennsylvania colony. And not only are Quakers going to come here, and that's going to be our initial boatloads of folks. Okay. Within 20 years. All right. We have our capital city of Pennsylvania, which is not the capital city anymore. Philadelphia, which is the city of brotherly love, okay? Within 20 years, the Quakers are going to be outnumbered. People are going to find Pennsylvania such a desirable place to live because of the climate, because of the soil, because of the freedoms that Penn had established, okay, that the number of Quakers are going to be outdone by the number of folks from other religions in this area, okay? So the Quakers go from being the minority in the colony to being not minority in the colony, all right? Which is okay because a lot of the sensibilities that were initially established by the Quakers, okay, those sensibilities are still in existence. And I just had a weird thought that I may have not done something. It's not really a weird thought, it's just a thought. And I have not been presenting, so you guys have just been seeing my ugly face the entire time. Actually, it's not that ugly. All right. Anyways, let's get back to what's going on. All right. All right, so that's Pennsylvania. Again, William Penn. William Penn got props from the king to go ahead and do this. 50 acres, people can vote, religious freedom. We'll find this idea of land and religious freedom as being very common factors in the establishment of all of these original colonies, okay? Not only did we get Pennsylvania, thank you, William Penn, but he's also going to break off part of that territory, okay? Create another colony, calling it Delaware, and it's going to operate pretty much the same way that Pennsylvania is going to operate. It's going to be governed the same way, all right? So we've got those two things going on. Pennsylvania is going to continually evolve. Things are going to be happy, all right? And King's going to have some other folks that are like, you know, hey, man, I'm of royal descent and life is pretty good over here, but I'm limited to how much money I could make. Hey, King, do you think I could have some land over in North America? I'll do it for you. You know I will. We're down like that. And that's what the George Calvet, okay, that's what George Calvet is going to say. He is also the Lord Baltimore, okay, he's Lord Baltimore. He's going to ask for some land, and the king is going to be like, Dominus Omnis, it's all yours, all right? You can have some land north of Virginia, south of Pennsylvania. And Lord Baltimore is going to be so happy. Thank you, King. I love you so much. I'm going to name this land after your wife. I'm going to call it Maryland, Maryland, okay? Unless you're from Mount Airy, in which case it's Maryland. I lived in Maryland, and I did live in Maryland for a while, all right? Maryland, all right, I'm going to name it Maryland. And, of course, I'm going to name the capital after myself, Baltimore, all right? So we got Baltimore, Maryland. Capital, a colony given to somebody by the king, okay? Again, the king is like, yep, you can make money, and then I'm going to make money, all right? The people who are going to come and live in Baltimore and Maryland are going to farm. They're going to get some money. They'll pay taxes to you. You'll pay taxes to me, and it's a win-win situation, okay? That's what's happening over here. But one of the other key things that's going to kick off in Maryland is that they, too, are going to be founded on religious freedom, okay? They are Catholics, if I remember correctly. And it's going to work out well for them. It's going to work out well for pretty much everybody along the way. In fact, by the time we get into the 1660s, all right, we're going to get North and South Carolina are going to be established. The details, not that important because we won't go into it. 1732, we'll get our last of our original colonies established. The state, well, the colony of Georgia. And Georgia's kind of a funny situation in that Georgia was established kind of as a penal colony. We are going to take all of our prisoners and we're going to dump them in Georgia. And this was done by a friend of the king's, okay, another acquaintance of the king by the name of James Oglethorpe. And James is thinking, well, I don't just want criminals, I want to rehabilitate criminals. I want folks to go through a series of trials and tribulations, and at the end, they should be able to become productive members of society. All right, so that was his whole thing. And he's a very strong religious type individual as well in his beliefs. As a result, Georgia will be kind of one of the last states to outlaw or to legalize slavery, but we'll talk about that a little bit down the line, all right? So all these colonies have all of a sudden kind of been established in North America. We went from having 2, okay, to having 13 in a very short period of time, all right? Very short period of time. And what are some of the common themes between all of these colonies? Good question, good question. Money, obviously. We need to make money. How are we going to make money? Well, I'm going to have people come over and they're going to work the land and they're going to sell the stuff, okay? I will collect taxes on that and the king will collect taxes on me. Everybody's making money. Everybody's happy. Another common thing, okay, is land. That's how we're getting our money. The average person who could never own land in England now has a chance to come over to these colonies and get 50 acres, get 10 acres, get 20 acres, okay, and do something different for themselves. So that's going to be a big part. And then the last, oh, there's 2 other things. One, religion. Hey, I can practice how I see fit. And then the next part is our participation in government. Unless it is a royal colony, a straight up royal colony set up by the king himself, okay, folks are going to have the opportunity to participate in a government that was established by the colonial leader. All right. They may not be able to change the leadership of that colony. Okay. We can't change the governor. We can't vote the governor out, but we can have elections on things that impact our daily life, the small things that impact our daily lives, so that we feel that we have a say in our own destiny. And that's going to become very, very important down the line. All right. Now, the economics of the colonies is just going to differ from colony to colony. And this is the kind of stuff that you guys learn about in the 6th and 7th grade. You got the northern colonies, and they're all timber, and the southern colonies were all farmers, and the middle colonies did a little bit of everything, okay? So I'm not going to go a lot into that because I wouldn't test you guys on that one, that information specifically, okay? But what you may see some test questions on, okay, are the different types of colonies, all right? And the type of colony is also going to have an impact on the economy of that colony. God, that's a mouthful, isn't it? All right, so our first one is the one that we had in Jamestown and Massachusetts Bay Colony. Those are our good old charter colonies, or our joint stock colonies, which were set up by corporations, and this is going to be important down the line, set up by corporations for the sole purpose of making money. We don't care about religious freedom. We just care about making money. Okay, that's what we're all about. Corporation colonies. You make money, everybody makes money, but more importantly, we, the corporation, make money. You're going to get your royal colonies, the ones that were governed directly by Great Britain, okay? And those are the ones that, yes, you may have a governor in that colony, but that governor is nothing more than an extension of the king. So whatever the governor says, it's pretty much as if it were coming down from the king, which means that you're not going to have the same amount of freedoms in one of these types of colonies that you may have in a colony such as Pennsylvania, where you can participate in government. All right, we're going from monarchy to some form of loose democracy. All right, what else? What else? And then we got our good old proprietary colonies, and these ones would be things like Pennsylvania, Georgia, Maryland. All right, where the king is like, "Yep, you get some land. It's all you." Okay. And you can run it however you want to run it. All right. You can run it where y'all can be religious people, but something that's not the way that I believe in, okay? You can take all them criminals down there and try and rehabilitate them. It's all up to you, all right? That's the proprietary government. Yes, you will still pay me money as the king, all right? But you go ahead and do what you want to do, and we'll see how long that lasts. As I said like 2 minutes ago, your occupation is going to be, or your opportunities for various jobs, okay, is going to be dependent upon where you live and the climate of the colony that you choose to live in. If you are a farmer by trade, okay, I was a farmer here over in England, and now I'm going to go up to Massachusetts, and I'm going to grow cotton and indigo all day long, and life is going to be great, okay? No, you're not. You're going to go broke is what you're going to do, okay? Because the conditions in Massachusetts are not going to be the same as those conditions in North Carolina. We know that now, okay? The soil can produce. Yes, you can grow you some potatoes and grow a little bit of wheat and become a subsistence farmer, okay? Not a problem. But if you're thinking about growing cash crops up in Massachusetts, not going to happen, all right? If you are thinking that, wow, there's a lot of rivers here and there's a lot of timber here, I can cut this stuff down and ship it back to England and make money, that's what's going to work for you, okay? Likewise, if you hate the hot weather and I'm going to go down to Georgia and this is going to be great, it's going to be nice, and no, it's hot, it's swampy, it's buggy, all right? And that's going to impact what you choose to do, all right? Or what you're able to do as a profession. So that's really how the idea of geography and the environment will influence industrial development. Those joint stock companies up in Massachusetts are going to be a little bit different than those joint stock companies in Virginia, all right? How, Mr. Johnson, how are they going to be different? Bum, 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 bum. Enter the issue of slavery in the Southern economy, all right? I'm going to throw up my little disclaimer right here, right now, and that we are going to go just like on the surface of this topic, all right? You could have an entire college course on slavery and the economics of slavery in North America, all right? We've got a course that started here now called African American Studies, where hopefully they're going to spend at least 3 or 4 weeks talking about slavery in North America. For this class, we are just skimming the surface, okay? Giving the basics about things now, and we'll look at it a little bit deeper when we get up into the late 1700s, early 1800s, okay? But here in here in the United States, which are then just 13 colonies, slavery is going to kind of evolve in a funky way, in a slow way. Now, again, slavery, y'all know the definition: a system enforced of servitude in which some people are owned by other peoples, okay? What's going to cause it to kind of thrive over here is the need for labor, Up in Massachusetts, you're not growing massive cash crops, okay? You're growing, like I said, some potatoes and some wheat to help you make it through the wintertime, and some corn, okay? But you're not growing 100 acres of indigo, 100 acres of tobacco up in that area. Soil's not conducive to that. The growing season is too short. In the South, we need the labor to get perfect soil, perfect conditions, okay? And originally, we had that system where somebody could come over to the United States. They could come over, work for 5 years, right? Then be free and do their own thing. Even some Africans came over in that kind of a situation. I'll work for 5 years, then I can be free, all right? But then good old Virginia is going to mess everything up for everybody. In 1661, okay, Virginia is going to say, well, yeah, it sucks that every 5 years you have to get new people to work, and we're not getting enough people coming over to keep working this land. Because remember, Virginia was formed by a joint stock corporation, okay? Virginia is a colony, but it is a part of a corporation as a whole. Its sole purpose is profit, okay? Sole purpose is profit. And if I've got to change over my workforce every 5 years or so, or more importantly, if I don't get enough folks coming over, okay, my corporation is going to suffer. But these people over here, well, we'll extend out their indenturedness. Yeah, it's for 10 years, not 5, 15 years. Yeah, 20, you know what? We're just going to keep them. And they're going to be the first state in 1661 that says, and I said states, first colony in 1661, it's going to say, hey, guess what? All these Africans coming over, they ain't never getting their freedom. They're stuck, okay? And other states in the area that exist in the same manner, okay? Corporate colonies, all right? Cash crops, long growing seasons, labor intensive, they are going to do the exact same thing, okay? Whether you're doing rice or sugar cane, cotton, indigo, you name it, okay? This is what's going to happen. And the only state in this massive growing area, okay, that's going to resist is crazy old Georgia. And why are they resisting? Because, heck, they've got plenty of people coming over, all right? Because their king's going to empty out the jails, send them over to Georgia. Life is going to be great. But eventually, some of those folks in Georgia are going to be free also. They're going to get their own bits of land. They're going to grow their own, and they're going to recognize that we need more people. There's not enough criminals to help us out, okay? And eventually, they're going to legalize slavery also. It'll reach a point where by 1750, we're going to have almost 500,000 people who are enslaved living in the colonies. Of course, 3/4 of them are going to be living in the South, where that heavy industry is, heavy agricultural industry is located. Does that mean there were no slaves in the North? Heck no, it doesn't mean that. There were slaves in the North also, okay? Were there slaves in the same number as they were in the South? Heck no, you got the numbers right there, okay? Slavery will exist in the North at a lesser level, okay? If I am a simple lumber manufacturer, okay, I am going to need people to help me out. And if I can't hire people to help me out, or if I can't afford to maintain a running salary for some folks, well, I can maybe buy a slave or three to help me work, okay? And all I have to do is provide them with food and shelter, and life will be good, all right? Like getting some pack mules. I'm not calling them pack mules. I'm just saying what some folks looked at slaves as, okay? Pieces of equipment as tools. All right. Now, part of the thing that made this possible or helped carry or help promote the idea of slavery in the United States, okay, I guess it made it economically possible, is the idea of the triangular trade. And this is something that you will see again, triangular trade. So we already know that in North America, we've got some stuff that is here that is not over in Europe. We talked about the Columbian Exchange earlier on. This is Columbian Exchange on steroids, okay? Went down to the gym, got some steroids, went into the bathroom, and was popping those things, and it grew up to become this, all right? In the Americas, we are going to be shipping over things that they don't have that are cash crops, high-value products, such as sugar, tobacco, and cotton. Indigo should be in there as well, over to the to Europe, to England in particular. And England's happy. It's making their money hand over fist because of these things, all right? And they recognize that, ooh, they need more people. Well, how are we going to get people? Well, we got to go ahead and get, you know, some Africans to go over there to help produce these goods that we need. And so, boom, I'm leaving my ship. I sail my ship with that good stuff over to England. I pick up a few trinkets, okay? I take those down to Africa and I sell those to the natives down there, and they'll be more than happy to provide me with some other people that I can ship over to North America, where I can make some more money, all right? And sell them over there, and then start the whole process all over again, okay? There is a great documentary, not documentary, there's a great little video that's part of today's assignment on the emergence of the North Atlantic slave trade. Really, really good. Gives you some insight as to what's going on, as to what motivated these merchants back during this time period to engage in this kind of an industry, all right? It's kind of insane, all right? But the most insane part about this overall triangle of trade, okay, is that third leg, which is also known as the Middle Passage. This is the kind of nasty part of the overall thing. None of it was great, okay, but this is the nastiest part, because this is the part that involved human beings, all right? How can you treat a human being this way? You consider them to be less than human, and that's what a lot of folks were doing, okay? These aren't people. These are less than people. They are sub-people, and we're going to treat them as sub-people, all right? The conditions on these slave ships that brought folks over from Africa to North America, it's pretty ugly, okay? It's pretty gruesome. It's pretty harsh. And so, you know, but it was what it was. I'm not transporting people. I'm transporting raw material, essentially. 20% of the folks that originally got on these ships over in Africa didn't survive the journey, okay? And they didn't survive for a variety of reasons. Of course, overcrowding, disease, heat stroke, a little bit of starvation thrown in there for good measure, okay? That's going to cause folks to die. And so if I'm a captain, I'm thinking to myself, dang, I had 100 people the last time I made this journey. I lost 20 of them, okay? I got to make sure that I am getting my full value that I can from my shipment of goods, all right? So as opposed to carrying 20 people or 100 people, my next trip over, I'm going to stick 120 on that ship, or maybe 140. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'll carry 140 in an area that's designed to carry, maybe 100 people, okay? And it just keeps getting uglier from there, because not are we going to be in a situation where everyone's going to be like, oh, this is great, we're going on a cruise somewhere. No, man, you got human beings, and human beings, if they know they are going down, okay, they're going to try to rebel in one way, shape, or form. You can either rebel from like, I'm not going to eat. You won't get any money off of me because I'm going to be dead by the time I get there, okay? They would force feed people. Pretty disgusting process, all right? Some folks would rebel, all right? You can, these guys were a lot of slaves that were originally captured were warriors from another tribe that were taken prisoner and sold into slavery, all right? So they're going to do what warriors do, and they're going to fight. If you were successful, okay, depending on where you were on your journey, you could make it back to Africa. If you weren't so successful, you may find yourself still making it to North America under the guise of, oh yeah, we're taking you back to Africa, okay? Because you're in the middle of the friggin' Atlantic. What are you going to do, all right? If you weren't lucky, you started your rebellion, you and 30 people tried to rebel and everything like that, but your rebellion was put down, what they're going to do is they're going to chain you guys all together. They're going to take one person and they're going to tie about 150, 200 pounds of weight to them. They're going to throw them over the side of the ship, and they're going to sit back and watch as the first person goes over, that chain gets tight, and then the next person goes, the next person goes, the next person goes, and the next person goes, until everybody that was involved in that rebellion is floating to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, if you were off to the side and you saw that happen, then you'd be thinking to yourself, okay, they tried, they didn't work, so I guess I'm going to North America, and we'll see what happens when we get over there, okay? Kind of the nastiest bit of the journey, but it was the, I'm not justifying it by any means, okay? But it's what it was. That's how they kept the machine flowing, all right? The machine of slavery that was designed to make profit for the corporate colonies of Virginia, eventually North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia as well. It's kind of insane. But anyways, I've been prattling on way too long about this. Right now, Ebony's like, man, Mr. Johnson, I said I was tired and I need to go to bed.